Hey guys, how's it going? I know, she's back. I'm here again. I did take like 6 months off of doing this and I apologize. I realize I really hate editing and I really suck at it. So if you've seen any of my last couple videos I've posted, thank you for watching them because I really did put everything I had into editing those little silly things. So I want to move forward as far as just doing YouTube, doing long form content with a lot less editing. I don't enjoy doing it. So I enjoy talking. So let's do that instead. I hope you've all been well. It is July 2026 and I'm just trying to make it. As you can see by the title of this video, I did quit my nursing job. I was a school nurse this last couple of months, this last school year. I was a school nurse at a high school, and most days it was really fun, and some days it was really bad. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit more today, and just let you know that if you're kind of going through the same thing, I'm like semi-unemployed, semi-stay-at-home wife, semi-working part-time, so I'm just kind of going through it. So I want to talk about it and we'll just start from the beginning. Okay, so back in October, I quit my nursing job at the OBGYN clinic that I had worked at for about 3.5 years. That was so hard for me to quit just because I love women's healthcare. I feel like it's such an overlooked field, and I just feel like anybody who works in that has such a strong heart for women, health, and mental health, emotional health, all the stuff that goes into being a woman. It's so hard to be a woman. So that's why I fell in love with it, just because to be able to hold somebody's hand on their worst day of their life and then to celebrate with them on the best day of their life, there's nothing like it. There is nothing like seeing somebody's baby on an ultrasound for the first time. Could make me cry right now just thinking about it, because it is like seeing Jesus's hands and feet walking through your clinic, and it's just like miracles are happening every day, but also you're experiencing some of the worst losses that anybody could imagine as well. So it was super hard for me to quit that job because being there for 3.5 years, I was with some women for 3 pregnancies, and that's just like your prenatal care. So it's like I was seeing them once a month, and then I would see them like every 2 weeks. I would see them more often if they were having problems, and then I would see them every week or sometimes every day until they had their baby if they had a lot more concerns or questions. And then if you're calling your OB's office, who are you talking to? You're talking to the nurses. And so that would be me. Just a lot of reassurance and education, and I got to know these women super well. And so it was really hard for me to leave. I left that nursing office because I just had a lot of internal struggle, as far as it's one way to call it. I had a lot of struggle with management at that job, and it felt like we were having the same meeting over and over again. It felt like a lot of things were not getting addressed. They would ask, what are the problems in back of the clinic? I would tell them. Nothing would change. We'd have the same meeting 2 months later. I'd say, hey, what about that raise? Can we talk about that raise? Can we do something for the nurses in the back that have been here for the last couple of years? And yeah, I got told no to my face several times, and it just gets to a point. It gets to a point of you're doing way more work, you're way more experienced, and you're not being compensated. So it was really difficult for me to quit just because I had such a strong love for women's health, and I still do. And then having to leave feeling like there's no up from here, and being like, we're like hitting heads, me and my bosses every single day, who just happen to be physicians as well. So it just, I feel like, put me in a really awkward position a lot of the time. So it was a difficult transition. When I first moved to Texas, I was applying to be a school nurse. I applied a couple times and I was annoying. I was calling, I was like, hey, I just moved here, I really need a job. And they had just said that they weren't hiring at that time, even though their listing was active for like a long time. So this time when I quit back in October 2025, I was like, let's look at it again. Let's just see. Again, bothered everybody I could into getting a school nurse job, and I loved it for the first couple of weeks. It was not until I got to my actual school assignment that I was like, maybe this isn't right. So it was a long training process, which I really appreciated, because as a nurse, sometimes they'll just like throw you somewhere and be like, oh, this is your preceptor, and like you walk around for like 2 days. And this was way different. I got to experience elementary school with preschool, middle schoolers, and high schoolers. So it was a month long of like kind of going back and forth between schools, kind of seeing where I was going to be, because I thought originally I was going to be hired as an elementary school nurse. And here where I live, it's one nurse at elementary, one nurse at middle school, and two nurses in the high schools, just because there's so many kids in our high schools here. And we have so many schools. There's like 50 schools in one district here, and we have 2 different districts in our town. So I was doing my last day at a high school rotation, and my boss called. She was like, so how are you liking the high school? And the high school I was at was chill, like super chill. I think I saw 10 kids that day. And I was like, oh, I love it. This group of kids is awesome. And she was like, okay, perfect, because we need you to work at high school instead. So I was like, okay, I can do that. I had heard this school is more difficult, but was excited to try it out. And like I think it was December, maybe 1st or 2nd, that I started at this high school. And so I worked at this same high school from December to May. It was like nursing school every single day. I never knew it was going to happen. It felt like urgent care. It was a revolving door. Like most days I was seeing like 40, 50 kids, and that's not including like emergencies. We had the most ambulance calls, which were all warranted, I will tell you. In the district, we had the most like 911 calls. And I think it has to do with just how many kids are at the school, almost 2,000 kids, 2 nurses, and then like lots of medical things. So we had like seizure disorders, of course, uncontrolled type 1 diabetes, just a lot of things that bring you back to nursing school of like, okay, like I've heard about this, but I haven't really seen it hands on. So it was a lot of like, okay, you're going to learn this and you're going to learn it right now. And that was exciting, but also terrifying. Just because of my past experience, I've only worked in clinics. So you have to understand that when I'm kind of going into the more how mentally this job affected me, I don't want it to come off like I'm complaining, because I really tried really, really hard. And so I thought it was going well for a while. My boss had started to recommend to me that I transfer to a middle school, just because they were needing to make some other changes. And I told her no, I wanted to stay at the high school and I wanted to keep learning, because I had a partner there and she had been doing nursing a lot longer than me. Shout out Amanda, if you ever see this, you're the best. And I just, I was learning every single day was something new. And I told my boss, I was like, I'm struggling a little bit with emergencies just because I haven't had to do a lot of them. So that was a struggle, but yeah, every day was something new. So getting to kind of the internal struggle of this job, I started to have really bad anxiety. And I don't feel like anxiety is something I ever really have struggled with in the past. I've struggled with more of like depression and just, family stuff and more things that I've like gone to therapy for. This job made me feel like I need to go back to therapy. I don't want that to come off as like being dramatic, because it was more of like, I've just have never experienced this. And I was like, I couldn't, once you clock in for the day, you can't leave the school. Like you don't get a lunch break. Hopefully you get to use the bathroom. And you probably think of a school nurse and you're like, oh, it's Band-Aids, it's like immunization records, it's, calling mom, oh, little Johnny threw up. Like sometimes, yeah, but sometimes it was a lot more of like, oh, you better go get the AED right now because I might have to use it. And thank God it never got to that point, but there were some days where it was like, oh, their heart rate's 220. Why? I don't know, but let's call 911 and just hopefully nothing bad happens. So it started getting to a point of I wasn't wanting to transition to a different school, because also I didn't want to be alone. Like I said, the middle school nurses are on their own all day. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to do that either, because I just started this job and I feel so much more comfortable having my bestie there with me. Like if I have anything I need to throw out there, an idea, a rash I've never seen before, there's somebody there to back you up. And I think that's so important, especially with me being a younger nurse. I know 5 years, I still feel like a new grad. So there's some days where it's like, okay, like I've seen this before. I think it's ringworm. Of course I can't diagnose, but there's some things it's just nicer to have somebody there to kind of bounce your ideas off of. And that's what I really liked about it. I had my, what's that called? I had my evaluation back in March, and I got recommended for another school year, but at a different school. And I was like, what? Well, why? I don't understand, because as far as I knew, I was learning, I was growing, everything was going okay. I was dealing with a lot of mental stress, all the time, but I just feel like, okay, maybe I'm just still learning. I still don't, feel quite like confident in myself. But I was recommended by a middle school to work there with them. And so I felt really disheartened. I had asked my boss at the time, just kind of like, how do you think I'm doing? Like evaluation stuff. And she said I was doing great. She said a lot of my like clinical skills and my clinical thinking are really like spot on. I'm very safe in what I do and how I give medications. So that was very good to hear. It was just hard to hear that she didn't like how many students we were seeing, which was again like 40 or 50 kids a day, which is a lot. Like some schools see like 10. And so it just depends. And so we were told that we shouldn't be treating so many like at-home problems. So that being like menstrual cramping, that being headaches, stomach aches. And I get it. Like these kids are 15 through like 18 or 19. They should be taking care of some of these issues at home. But also if I'm your school nurse and you come to me with cramps that are an 8 out of 10, I don't mind giving Tylenol. And I think that was hard for me and my boss to see eye to eye, just on like, no, I'm the school nurse. If they're going to come to me with a pass and they never come in here, I don't mind giving them medicine. I'm not going to give them a hard time. Like I was a girl in high school once too. Like, these kids, they shouldn't be fully responsible for themselves because they are in school. They are school aged. So I don't see the problem with seeing them, even if they just like needed a snack. But we were not supposed to do that. It was supposed to be very just like emergencies only, scheduled medications, and things that like could not wait. And there was some days where my boss would be in there with me and the other nurse I worked with, and she would straight up just tell kids no. And it was just like very disheartening. Of course, she's been a nurse way longer to me. I don't want any disrespect towards her because she taught me a lot. She taught me a lot just sitting with me for a couple of days. I learned a lot about her and her nursing career, but it was hard. Like as a school nurse, I feel like I'm way too nice and I feel like I'm way too talkative. Like I love to make community. I love to make connection. Some of the kids would come in there after like vacation and stuff and just like hug me so hard. And it's like, I barely know you, but I love you. Like, I just want to be like that person for a kid. And sometimes you can be, because there would be some kids that would come in and be like, hey miss, like I didn't get to eat yesterday. I'm going to cry again. Just being like, do you have anything I could eat? Or telling me that they got in an argument with their parents and they didn't sleep at home last night and they were like just out walking around, and can they take a nap? Sure. Absolutely, you can take a nap. And I'm going to leave a snack next to your bed and you're going to eat it before you leave. Some of these kids don't get loved. Some of the kids you'd have to like kick out of your office because they will just stay in there and talk to you all day. And it's such an honor. It's an honor and a privilege to be like a teenager's chosen person. And it wasn't just me. It was the other nurse too. And she is, a little bit older than me and has like her own kids and stuff. And like, she was even my mom. She was everybody's mom. And it was just an honor. It's an honor to be the person that somebody goes to. They feel like they can't go to anybody else. Stop crying. It's a special feeling. And so, yeah, I had a very hard time telling people no. Obviously, you can tell that I have a soft spot for these kids. And even after like a week of knowing them, I was like, I would do anything for them. I would do anything for this 15-year-old girl that comes in and sees me every day and asks for a mint. And I'm going to give her the mint every time she comes in here, because these kids need to know there's people they can go to. And it's not like they're not coming in so it's like, miss, I want to go home. No, they're coming in because they want to tell you they passed their test. They're coming in because they want to tell you they got a boyfriend, or they're going to prom and they're so excited, or they got entered into the art contest and they won first place in state. It's just, it's so much more than the medical side of stuff. So I had this as like a PSA. If you want to be a school nurse and you love the excitement, you love you never know what's going to happen and the adrenaline, do it. Please do it, because the high schoolers need just as much love as the littles do. They don't get it. I feel like they're treated by so much like of the older generation of like, oh, this generation doesn't know anything. And it's like, they're my generation and maybe not. We have like a 10-year difference, but it's like, they're just kids. They were babies raised with phones, but they are just kids, and they will talk, and they will be curious, and they will be so sweet if you just give them your ears. Really, that's all they need. Like, yeah. Anyways, I got off on a tangent. So after my evaluation and everything, I decided not to come back to the schools this year. One, because of my mental anxiety. I was not able to get over the like never knowing what's going to happen. I always feel like the other shoe is going to drop, and that is not a good place to live for me. That is like, I'm coming home and I'm mentally frustrated and I'm mentally exhausted, and that's not fair to me. That's not fair to my husband. That's not fair to anybody. And so I have decided not to go back in August. Thankfully, I'm still getting paid by the schools because right now it's like summer break. So I'm just completing my contract technically. Thank goodness. So right now I'm doing okay. I have good days and bad days, just like the being unemployed. I'm like stay-at-home wife. I do work part-time, like retail. So that's been fun. It's been a good mental break. I have a chance to like be creative and be out in the community, and we do like events and stuff too. So that's been really, really good for me mentally. And I'm so thankful that I've had the chance to do that. What's next? I have no idea. And like yesterday I applied for 4 jobs. None of them were nursing related. None. And so I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. My husband keeps asking, like, what's your dream job? Like, if you could do anything, what would you do? Like, I don't know. Like, I want to travel. I want to live at the beach. I want to see my family. I want to eat whatever I want. I want to go try new food. I want to go to amusement parks. Like, and so I think I just need a job that can pay for my lifestyle. And I think I want a job that can pay for my like dream life. Do I have a dream job? I don't know. I don't know if I do. And I think that's okay. And I think I just maybe need to take a break from nursing. I don't think this is like goodbye. I think it's just, I need to do something else for a little bit. I need to learn more about everything to feel more confident as a nurse. It was recommended to me to go do med-surg. To go do med-surg for a couple years to get my confidence up. I'd rather do anything else. I'd rather walk in Arizona with no shoes on, outside, than to work med-surg. And the ladies and gents who do med-surg, you're angels. You are angels, because a lot of us nurses never want to do that, ever. I know this has been a long vent and rant, and I thank you for being here if you're still here. Yeah, maybe I'll be a YouTuber. I just need like 4 million of you guys to subscribe. I think that'll be good. That should be enough, I think. And then we'll travel the world together. I'll make little videos. I'll go review food for you guys. But yeah, if you've gone through something like this, what did you do? Did you change careers completely? Do you think taking a break from nursing is gonna help? Should I go back to therapy? Probably yes. But yes, all my love to all the nurses out there, school nurses especially. People don't know what you guys go through. It is so much more than owies and stomach aches and yeah, parents and, you know, all the stuff that you have to deal with. And yeah, my love is with all of you guys. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.